plaintiff, Caitlin Fulkerson, dated the defendant, and she claims while pregnant with his child, he physically abused her and threatened her life. So she filed a restraining order against him. Caitlin's suing him for half the value of a trailer, the cost of a car, and unreturned property. Defendant Mackenzie Sellers says after he and Caitlin broke up, he was forced to call the police after she showed up to his home with guns drawn to get her property. Mackenzie denies owing Caitlin for anything.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Okay, so we met of January of 2020. Well, we started dating then, actually. I'm sorry.
All right.
And I got him pregnant at the end of February with our daughter. And eventually he started to become very jealous of my past. And
Past?
yes, like people I've slept with before him. So he had me create
People. How many did you all discuss?
everybody. Everyone. Yeah, he made me create a
Why?
list. He wanted to know everyone I'd been with before him.
I understand wanting to know the last one. I want to know what you've been doing, your last situation.
Yeah.
Or maybe the last year or two. But he wants you to go back to childhood, to adolescence. Huh?
Yeah.
You have a boyfriend in the third grade? What's his name?
No, sir. I did not.
Fourth? I'm like him.
Are you?
When? And I want name.
Okay.
He didn't ask you any specifics, really, did he?
Objection.
You did not?
No. So I asked specific things about things that she had told me.
Okay.
She had told me certain things, and then I started seeing things on social media that didn't add up with what she was saying to me.
Objection.
So in the process of what she was telling me and what I was seeing was completely different from what I had trusted and believing from her.
Got it.
It wasn't like it was 1, 2, or 3. There was a good handful.
So choir, a boys' choir.
Right. So there was a good handful of scenarios where I looked dumb about certain things but at the end of the day, that's not what we're here to talk about.
He didn't have a list.
No, and unfortunately, that is very true. And I told her that, and she was well aware of that. The way we met was through my ex-girlfriend. I have another child with somebody else, and they used to be best friends. Yes. So there's a lot to this than just specifically what's in this lawsuit. And I'm trying to stay specifically from the time we broke up to us leading.
All right. Well, at least let her tell me about the what she feels was a big issue, and that is, ma'am, he said that you brought it up, your past relationships, and then he began to see contradictions based on the internet traffic or whatever.
Okay, so this is what had happened. So we would have conversations about people, right? And some of it would be people I've been with in the past.
Okay.
And I wouldn't, I'm not just going to come out and
How old
say,
are you?
I'm 20. And I'm not just going to blurt out to my new boyfriend, who we've only been with for like a week or two, oh, well, I slept with so-and-so in just the middle of a conversation, because I was just getting to know him. We just started dating.
You acted as if he was questioning you vehemently about who have you been with before? I want to know the number. He says that you're the one that brought up the subject initially.
No, but okay, so after the first situation, then he started that he demanded a list.
Who brought up the first situation? The people you dated in the past.
It wasn't someone I dated. It was just someone who I've been with sexually.
That's okay.
So it wasn't really like it wasn't really like.
Okay, so you brought up a one-nighter. Yeah, I'm gonna have to know some more. Oh, really?
Your Honor.
Okay, well, how many randoms? Yeah, you'd have to tell me a lot more. I'm with him now. You just can't tell me nothing like that and keep it moving. Yes.
Your Honor, the bias behind those conversations was she was talking to me about associates and people that I had hung out with, who at the time of my life prior, I used to sell weed. Obviously, it's legal where we are, so you know. But so she'd bring up these people and start talking to them, making it out to be like they were just friends and acquaintances. So when I asked specifically, because like he said,
Doyle was one of them.
like he said, like
I was on that
I have no list. I have no list because honestly, there's been a lot. And I asked specifically, did you happen to sleep with them? Because there's a line. These aren't your friends if you slept with them. So when I asked specifically about a scenario that you're talking to me about, and I asked specifically about that person,
And you lie.
and you're lying to me about it, and I found out otherwise.
Yeah, I got to know a lot more. Understand totally. What I will say is that that's a double standard that society puts on women, or at least Western civilization, where the man thinks he can go and do everything and be with all these people. But then when she says she's been with all these people, suddenly it's a problem.
No, I didn't have a problem with that. I had a problem with the fact of lying about it.
Okay. So what else you want to tell me? He was kind of getting to how you all broke up. So
Yes.
you all got together January 20th. When did you break up?
Okay, April 25th.
Why? Why did you break up?
Well, throughout my pregnancy, he'd started to become abusive, and what started with shoving and pushing ended with choking, trying to suffocate me in my bed,
Did you file charges?
smacking. I have a protection order.
Okay. All right, and you all broke up then?
On April 25th, I found the courage to leave him after I've been scared.
Objection.
What do you object to, sir?
So I can't specifically speak on anything that
What,
has to
pending
do.
charges?
Yes, I have a pending criminal case, and I have
Okay.
a pending
We
child
won't talk
protective
about it
order
then.
case. We broke up over a disagreement about money.
Okay. Well, let's discuss the money portion,
Okay.
all right?
His mother had given us both a trailer while I was pregnant. Our names are listed on there. I'm the primary owner. He's additional. I had no choice
She
but
gave
to
it to you then as the primary owner.
Objection. There's evidence right here saying otherwise on page 3. It is a handwritten statement from the owner.
Did you all ever get a title, a deed that
I have the
Yes.
lease and the
proves
title.
ownership?
We did.
What does the deed say?
It's a
You
trailer
have it?
through a trailer. I have the lease
So-
and title.
Direct me to that.
Okay. The lease for the trailer is page
What
22.
page is the deed on?
And 23 is the title.
These type of properties, real estate, they don't transfer by notes. There are
Yes.
deeds and there are titles. And this
Her name is on
owner's
it
name
first.
is Caitlin Seller. So, additional owner. She was right, sir. You're listed as an additional owner.
Can I explain that?
Yes. Sure.
Okay, so when we had gotten the paperwork from my mother specifically, I was doing something and my mom was there, okay? My mom was there. We had told her to sign on it. So there was a first and a last place. It wasn't like she's full owner or I'm full owner. It was given to both of us specifically for my daughters to have a place to go, place to stay. Realize my mother and I do not have the best of relationship, and even with this relationship that I just went through, deteriorated our relationship even more because of what she was saying to my not just my mother, my family, adopted family who had fostered me for approximately 10 years. This home was specifically given to us so my daughters had a place to come visit with their father. So they had a safe environment for me to be at and for them to be at.
I'm going to go with the law, and you are the secondary additional owner, which I would interpret as if something were to happen to her, then it becomes yours in its entirety. So let's get to what happened with these things. You received the trailer. He was an additional owner listed. Yes. So what are you suing about? What happened? The cost of a car, unreturned property. Continue.
So I had no choice but to leave. Actually, I'd ran away with my daughter because he had threatened me after an argument.
Got that.
So I had no choice but to leave that
Okay.
home. Because
All
I
right,
was
and
scared.
so you want you
Just half the
enough
cost.
is just one half.
Yeah.
And the car, what happened there?
Okay, so I'd purchased that vehicle around March or so, and actually he went out and bought the car, but with my money. I'm also the primary owner of the vehicle. There had been an agreement between him and I after I left him that he would keep the trailer and I would get my vehicle, my TV, and my laptop back. That's the other 3 things.
He would keep the trailer?
Yeah, that he would keep the trailer and I would take my vehicle, my
And what
laptop,
happened
and
to
TV.
that agreement?
Well, I'd went to court over the protection order and he tried to make an agreement then, and then I was going to do it and everything, and then he just breached it. He didn't want to do it that way.
Changed
Objection.
his mind about making the agreement?
Objection.
Yes.
Yes, what do you say?
Objection. Okay, so she showed up to my house with firearms drawn at me the day after that that we had this verbal agreement, and I've been willing.
And she said cancel the agreement or else.
No, so somebody pulled up in front of my
Cancel!
Somebody pulled up in front of my driveway, and I was not aware she was coming over this day.
Let's get back to the agreement.
Right.
Remember, you didn't want to talk about the violence. Like you're talking about violence, now I have to let her.
No, I'm talking-
sorry.
I'm talking
you
about the-
mentioned the guns
I'm talking
being
about
pulled
the
on you by her, or she did something violent towards you.
No.
So have your way. Tell me exactly all the violence that he came to you with.
He choked me, and he had threatened to kill me, and he had held my mouth shut on my own bed. I'm sorry.
Give her some tissue. Okay.
That is basically what happened that day when she came with the.
Let her finish, sir.
I'm so sorry.
Take your time.
He's done a lot. But the day he's talking about, there was no guns drawn at him. I went with my friend's parents to go get some of my things for my daughter, because I left with almost nothing. I left with $8 to my name. And they have a permit to carry. They had it on their hip, like normal. And I called the police. The police were already on their way, and the police were there the whole time.
Objection.
And I was getting some things out of the trailer. I won't go there without the police. Well, I wouldn't before I got my things.
Okay, so what happened to the agreement? Let's get back to that. Because
So
with all the fighting, I haven't heard, we changed the agreement.
Okay, so we went to court for the protection order. And afterwards, I'd asked the police officer, I said, could I possibly do this agreement thing with him? He said yes. So he had
Right.
told Mackenzie, she's willing to accept handing over the title right now to the trailer. She's got it with her. And Mackenzie, I was talking about getting my TV, my laptop, because I still pay on those things, and my car. And he was like, oh, no, you got to go to my lawyer, and we have to do this, and I want to keep the TV now, and this and that. And I was like, okay, well, forget it.
Okay.
It's fine, we'll go to court.
Is that what happened?
No, sir. Okay, so the day that the firearms were drawn on me, they then called the police after drawing firearms on
Objection.
me. And I was more than willing. To give her all of her property.
Was
And-
that after the restraining order court
No,
date?
no. Everything that happened from the 25th to 28th was before the restraining order. When she came the next time over, that we had agreed that the next time she came over, she was going to commit to her after the agreement. I was going to commit. That day, they brought firearms instead, and I asked her, "Hey, where's the title? So I could give you the title." She just shakes her head and says no. Okay. So then,
Objection.
after she gets all of her property and in the process steals my clothing as well,
Objection.
talks to the police officer. The police officer then tells her, "You need to file a civil suit, ma'am." And I was willing to give everything.
Objection.
The next day, I find out she's talking to somebody who used to stay in my home approximately 3-4 days out of the week, which I felt very disrespectful. And eventually, come to find out, they were sleeping together at that
Objection.
point. He admitted to it on his own doing, and she was sitting next to him while we had a protective order. The reason why this protective order, sorry, my mind's all over the place. So she didn't commit to her after the agreement. The officer told her she needs to file a civil suit.
What did she say to indicate she wasn't committing to her part of the agreement?
That she wasn't giving me the title.
She said that?
Objection.
And that was the only thing that I basically wanted, the title to the trailer and the TV.
Who has the car?
I do.
Who has the trailer?
I do.
Okay, you have everything.
Right, and I was.
What does she have? Nothing?
The baby.
What are you asking for then? Half of each?
Yeah.
Half of each?
No, I want the full amount of the car and I want half of the trailer.
All right. Why do you feel you're entitled to the full amount of the car?
Because I paid for it.
And he says he paid some. Did you pay anything on the car?
I did. I got taxes and my
See,
stuff.
he paid some too. I'm not going to go through all this. Playhouse, this is what happens. Half for the trailer is yours. Your judgment is $2,675. That's what happens when you go to court after choking your woman. $2,675 is your judgment, half of everything. That's what happens when you play house. You pay half. Who cares who paid for it? Have a good day. That's my judgment.
She's lying, but
Definitely.
that's the whole reason. The whole reason why we are here is because she filed a restraining order instead of committing to her half of the agreement. That was the whole thing.